do for God. And this is what people need to understand. They're not giving you anything. He brought back between the rhetoric, which many of the public don't get. He's calling out the roaches. He will say things that really, if you really understand the politics, he don't mean. He's making people take positions and then trapping them later. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, people who don't really understand the history, mad at Trump, and you just say anything come out of his mouth. Well, if you really understood, he's playing an organized body of criminals. Now, I defended him. I'm just telling you what it is. Yeah. And much of what he's doing represents restoration of the Republican platform of government as set forth in Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution for the United States, with heavy opposition. You know, so he's putting his neck on the line just like, you know, in a way that Lincoln did, and Kennedy. And although people may not see them as relative, if you look at the politics and look past the rhetoric, you can see it. Now, whether or not he's compromised, much of what he said so far puts him and his family in danger. So that would be more inspiration for him, even if he was compromised, to go ahead and carry it through. Because you know, how you say, when you get at the end of the diving board, and then you decide to turn around and the crowd is pushing, because they want to dive too. Yeah. You know, you doing this type of thing. You may as well go ahead and make a swan dive, because he gonna push you anyway. But and this is where I see Donald Trump. We'll get into that later. But the deal of this is for people to understand, and this is with all due respect to anyone that's operating in those political platforms at North America that appear to have any honor. None of them are legitimate governmental operators. They're all members of the Roman Curia under the Jesuit order and the Circle Church on Fleet Street in England of the Chancery. Fact. There was no lawful president nor an administration of government operating at North America since Abraham Lincoln administration. Period. So get over it. And the other thing that you want to stop doing is calling them your government, any of them. Federal, state, or municipal. Not opinion, fact. And for those who are listening who don't understand what I'm saying at this moment, go research the Organic Act of Congress, February, around the 21st in that area, 1871. And then understand the fundamental principles of constitutional government. And you will learn a lot. And you'll learn why certain things that I say what I say. And those who, among Moors who are conscious, they have Moors who are unconscious, no Moors who are conscious, and persons who claim to love Noble Drew Ali, who are angry at Tajikai for talking constitutional principles, know this too. And they also know that once you all do research for yourself, it won't be what Taji says, it will be what you know. Then the light will be on them like a neon sign, and you'll recognize that many people who've been saying they love Noble Drew Ali were actually put in there by J. Edgar Hoover and their COINTELPRO. But the people don't know because they don't have the knowledge by which to measure spies and infiltrators, because they don't know the law. Do you understand? And so I'm not a constitutional fold of government, which is their responsibility to do. I just want to throw that in there. And who's really paying them off? Planners. One of these secret orders is paying them off. And half of them are Masons too. Go ahead.
I wanted to add and backtrack a little bit when Paul was talking about the temple, so y'all can understand. Y'all basically understand the way the Catholic Church is set up. The priests, all their property, whatever, they exercise a tax exemption status. So if Father is saying, the individuals in the temple, what you were supposed to do when you become nationalized, you remember your title is brother or sister. So that's your signature. Short for brother is B-R-O, period. For the sister is S-I-S. You're considered like a priest. So when Father says, when you get nationalized and those Moors are not doing your job there, you're supposed to operate almost like you see the Catholic Church in
Ecclesiastical principle.
yeah, and you're then, when you purchase your house, your car, everything else, you're supposed to have your tax exempt stuff status.
It is not even tax exempt for the average. That's distinguished from tax exempt.
Right.
Tax exempt is an application to the Jesuit order of the IRS under a submission of converted rights into privileges under license condition. There is no condition in the birthright. They have no purview, and thus the Aboriginal people are not taxed. So your position is non-obligatory, not taxed. I just want to make that clear because a lot of people say that phrase.
Is the point that I want to say.
And not just because it does, but the status, and this is what everyone would need to know. That right already existed. No Ali came to remind you what you forgot. And this is what people need to understand. They're not giving you anything. He brought back to you what was taken from you, including your consciousness. And this is another misrepresentation of the Moorish Science Temple of America, where people try to act like it's giving you something. It's making you aware of what already exists before you were born, and people in organized government and in organized situations were blocking from you. And then when you find out they be trying to own it and trying to control your life and trying to rule over you unjustly, this is where we talk about be careful more. Some of your brothers and sisters wearing turbans and feathers will be trying to put you back into slavery, which means they're not telling you the truth about birthright. Birthright is a divine position that already exists by divine order. Government has no purview in it whatsoever. There is no discussion about it. There is nothing that they can say about it. It is not just a wall, and it's not just a brick wall, that there's an avenue of planets between it. They have nothing to do but to protect you in that right, which means government only exists at all, to preserve the birthrights of men that already exist. Outside of that, government has absolutely no purpose, and it has no rights to give because they don't belong to them. Are we clear? This is why they do not teach civics. Now, what has happened is organizations are patterned after fundamental governmental principles. They use different names, and what they've been doing is using organizations to steal your birthright. And so when you look at people in position of authority, always look at them as public servants, not your master. And what they've done is flip that on you. This is birthright theft. Are we clear? So be clear on that distinction and look at all structures of government